Before you spam that dislike button, at least give the video a listen and comment on what you think of the movie after my explanation. Also, forgive me for using a clickbait title. Times are tough, man. Still, I think most of the analysis in this video is worthy of your time. First off, I'm going to focus on the more negative aspects of the movie, only because other reviewers have already made it painfully clear that this show is a masterpiece, and they've already showcased all of its good points. Don't get me wrong, I love Shinkai. 5 centimeters per second was one of the greatest modern anime movies I've ever watched in my life. Garden of Words wasn't as good, but it still resonated with me because its theme of age is just a number probably was relatable to some people who have been in similar situations. His other works also influence the way I think and watch anime, and write reviews ironically. Yet I still don't think Kimi No Na Wa was the best movie I have ever seen, or was I mind blown by it, contrary to its number 1 ranking on my anime list, with rave 10 out of 10 reviews. They say it's the best film Shinkai has ever created, or even better, the best movie they've ever seen. And, well, being the hipster I am, I have to disagree strongly. So here's the basic layout of the plot. The story takes place a month after the first comet has fallen in Japan in 1,000 years. Taki is a high school boy who lives in the city. Mitsuha is a high school girl and lives in the country. Basically, they begin to swap bodies for unknown reasons. At first, they think they are dreaming, but as the swaps become more and more common, they leave each other messages to confirm that they are in fact switching bodies. Hilarity ensues, they get to know each other better, and basically they get used to swapping like it's an everyday thing. Even creating schedules and rules for each other. Any more and I spoil the movie, although I will spoil it later in the review anyways. Your Name was a thrilling ride. I didn't cry, or have my heart ripped out of my chest, like from 5 centimeters per second. But the plot and the twists were nicely executed, to the point where I did feel a chill when the plot twist was revealed to us. Yet, the character development almost seems questionable. I don't want to spoil the movie, but I'll have to in a second, not right now. Basically, the majority of the movie feels very rushed, very sudden, very fabricated, to keep the plot going, plot no jutsu. This, and the fact that some of the story's elements don't completely make sense, gives me no end of grief as someone who went into the movie expecting the greatest masterpiece that Shinkai has ever created. One review even lauded its complex plot, yet I never really felt it was that mind-blowing. Okay, spoilers will continue on from this point to around the end of the review. I'm gonna wait 5 awkward seconds before I continue. Okay, you have been warned. Now, anyone who's watched the movie knows that there's a point where Taki and Mitsuha stop swapping bodies, and Taki doesn't know why. From here on for a while, the audience is only shown Taki's point of view as he tries to find out where Mitsuha lives, to check up on her, to see if she's alright. Now, this is where the character development takes a nosedive. Mitsuha had set up a date for Taki and his senpai from work, yet suddenly, she feels sad and cries for doing so, like she's regretting it. I don't understand the logic here. This may be due to the fact that the show literally compressed Taki and Mitsuha's exchanges into the extent of an insert song, albeit a long one, and left us with no meaningful conversations between the two. To draw a comparison to one of his earlier works, Shinkai's earlier works, Tono and Akari from 5 centimeters per second leave us breathless when they finally meet and kiss under the snowy tree. Even before they meet, in their introductions, the first few minutes of the film, the two young children have one of the most symbolic and beautiful exchanges I've ever witnessed in an anime, shifting right into another symbolic event where Tono is cut off at the railroad, crossing by a passing train, and can't reach the other side where Akari had already run to. This is done in mere seconds, yet leaves a more profound impact of the characters. Your Name fails to invest us in the characters' relationship, not the characters themselves, as they're pretty likable and relatable, but really lacks on showing how or why they would have feelings for one another. It's hinted from the beginning and throughout the entire movie that Taki has an interest in his senpai at work. Even Mitsuha picks up on this and tries to set up Taki on a date. The sudden drama that ensues from not swapping bodies anymore or their sudden desire for each other feels slightly out of place. It just doesn't make sense that Mitsuha was playing matchmaker seemingly to thoroughly enjoy it, and if she had feelings for Taki the whole time, maybe that was the point. She never realized it until the actuality of Taki going on a date settled in. Even then, the way Shinkai portrayed the whole situation was really choppy, too quick. They could have spent some more screen time to expand and show some character development, but with limited budget, I guess he chose to focus on other things. So by the end of the movie, I'm feeling all kinds of emotion. The ending is really uncharacteristically happy, for Shinkai movies at least, which I enjoyed, so I was happy. I was disappointed though because the ride wasn't as exhilarating as I thought it would be. I felt excitement for the future of Shinkai because he had this huge success, and also I felt a tinge of sadness, wondering whether Shinkai would ever create masterpieces like 5 centimeters per second again. Your Name is easily the most accessible movie that Shinkai has created thus far. It has more plot than most of his other works. It attempts to portray more character development than others. Keyword attempts. And it has much more dialogue, more humor, more plot twists, and it even has a happy ending. Yet, it just didn't strike a chord with me the way 5 centimeters per second did. Now, I'm reviewing Your Name and not 5 centimeters per second, but I can't help but draw a comparison between the two. A lot of people hated 5 centimeters because of its slow, symbolic, and realistic nature. They desired plot and they didn't get it. They wanted romance, they didn't get typical romance. And they never really understood or even tried to understand what was beneath just a plot in a story. And I guess I can understand people who watch or read any forms of storytelling just for entertainment. But those same people shouldn't be rating them. Your Name is an introductory film to ease into Shinkai's brilliant style, especially for newcomers. It most definitely is not his best work, although the art and music is absolutely brilliant. Reviewers seem to be biased because of the gorgeous artwork and cinematography. They aren't reviewing the movie's essence in itself. Though I agree that portrayal should be factored into the final judgment of any anime or movie. They're so caught up in the story's plot and emotionally captivating scenes that they disregard pacing issues and the problem with logical development between the actual main characters. I just can't help but be disappointed with the anime community for massively overhyping so many anime or movies recently, when there are masterpieces 10 times better, just waiting to be found. Erased. ReZero. For any of you young geniuses that might disagree with me, Shinkai recently had an interview where he even said it himself that the movie was rushed. His team had run out of money, and so they cut production earlier. Not only this, he himself thinks it's overpraised and that fans are overlooking the problems in the story. Why? Because of the exact reason I pointed out a few minutes ago. The film was such a success because he successfully manipulated the audience's emotion, like purposeful, tear-jerking scenes, which captivated the audiences so much that they disregarded its problems. Of course, he is more critical on himself, but we as anime fans can't fall to hype. What I'm trying to say is that the anime community is fast growing. I still remember when anime was pretty niche, when Shinkai was an unknown director. I remember watching his first movies and thinking to myself, wow, this guy is gonna get somewhere. And he did. But hype always generates expectations and pressure. It's the reason why Shinkai himself wants people to stop watching his movie. He keeps getting compared to great directors like Miyazaki. This is probably insanely annoying and puts extreme pressure to do good on his next film. But of course, that's just my opinion.